shooting a bit early. We're about 7 minutes early. Everyone will fill in. I've got notifications on my Discord and everything. But how
Good, rock on.
are we doing? We have the one and only, the man, the myth, the Pittsburgh legend himself, UrinatingTree, man. It is, dude. It's a privilege to have you on, man. I have been
Oh, man.
so psyched for
Dude, the
this.
honor's all mine. I'm glad you invited me on. I appreciate it, dude.
Yeah, well, I've always been so sketchy about just like reaching out because it's like I feel like an asshole just punching up so goddamn high, bro.
Dude, I know how it was when I was in college. Trust me, it's the nerves get to you, and you're thinking like, okay, like they're probably gonna tell me to fuck off. But at
Basically,
the end of the day, I'm pretty accessible. I'm like, I'll go on as many of these as I can, so it's all good.
no, and I greatly appreciate it. So one of the first things I want to ask you, because it is, you're about to get your ego stroked a little bit here. Sports, the This Week in Sports Ball series, like, genuinely, that was one of the most, like, influential, just, like, series of videos that kind of helped me, like, hone my editing style, because, like, my last video, dude, it was, like, dude, it was game shit all over the place.
Nice.
And so, take me kind of through, like, the process and the evolution of This Week in Sports Ball. You've been doing it for almost a decade?
It's been 10 years. It's been 10, and I've done 10 seasons, like 17. I believe this year will be season 10,
Hell
which is
yeah,
crazy
man.
to believe.
Yeah,
So, yeah, it's I when I first started this in 17, I thought it was going to be like once every other week or few weeks sort of thing because there wasn't much going on early days of 17. I thought I'd do it more as an experiment.
okay.
Nothing too crazy. And then the Trump stuff came out, the controversies with the kneeing. It's like, okay, I got to do this every week now. It slowly came in. First year, you're just trying to find your footing.
Mhm.
Second year is when things really started to come into their own. And really, I started to find my stride.
Okay.
So I would say that. And then I remember when they were released on Tuesdays and they were only like 10 minutes long, maybe 7. If you watch some of the older ones, now they're like 35, 40 minutes. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? No. Yeah, these are like 3-4 day adventures because usually Thursday night is when I start. I usually get my intros, my assets ready, roll through that. And then Thursday night, I do the game. I try, if it's like a busy game, I'll take the segment myself. I do have help with it. A guy named Shing. He's been helping me for about 5 years.
Okay.
So if not for him, it's the only reason I could get that out on Wednesdays because
wow.
it's just turned into just an animal on all its own. Because usually Sundays, I'm busy. I'm watching Red Zone on my TV, writing scripts, getting everything done there, trying to react to everything in real time. Sometimes I do streams for Steeler games or other games in general. And then Monday, I'm usually working on everything itself, voiceovers, video, certain segments, just making sure everything's finalized, sending everything, getting every asset lined up, just ready to roll. And then Tuesday, I'm either doing segments. And if not for that, I'll usually take like 4 or 5, maybe more, depending on how jam-packed the week is and how many games are just like out there. And then you have overlays, which I do a gather up myself. And then usually Wednesday is usually my finalization day. I'll usually get my final assets ready. I'll check every draft that I have. Like he'll combine the segments I do with the segments he does. I'll make sure everything's lined up. And once everything's set up, I'll make sure the beds are ready. Everything's just lined up crystal clear. I have somebody work on my thumbnails for me, so I have that ready there. Then get that rendered, and usually I'll have a sponsor. Like I'll do that usually Monday or Tuesday, maybe earlier, depending on the sponsor itself.
Okay.
And have that ready. So we're talking like a 4-day affair to get one of these out.
Oh wow! All right, I was gonna say that sounds like just an absolute, whole production process. Because usually,
yes,
my process is or go ahead.
Yeah, it wears you down by week 14, 15. You're just sitting there like November, December, like.
Please God, let it.
No, it's just like because the worst part is, and it's like a 2-edged sword. Because at the same time, once it ends in January, you're just like, okay, now what do I do? Because you're just sitting there like everything's done,
right?
It just turns into you're so used to that routine and just getting it done, and now you have to pivot to something else.
Yeah.
Usually playoffs, could be NHL, could be something along those lines.
Okay, and no, because that's usually a little past winter meetings for MLB too, because those are
Yes.
usually December, like right after Christmas, give or take.
Usually December.
So I was gonna say, like, my process, because like this whole thing's a one guy operation. So for the most part, so I do have he's probably in chat. So I do have like a graphics guy that's done a lot of the designs of like the aesthetics of my channel. And I swung for like a synthwave aesthetic. I don't know. I just fuck super hard with that. Yeah. So like
synthwave does work in certain aspects. So I feel like that does like have that sort of like 80s motif.
Yeah. Well, and like kind of, I think something that like I've used just for like my specific thing is like I play super hard into old school logos, because like I think on not this thumbnail, there was a rendition of the thumbnail before this that essentially had like R2 logo sitting in the middle, or on opposite ends, and then I had the old Denver D logo on my side, and then like fucking Steely McBeam on your side.
Kicking a field goal from the steel beam in the 60s. I know exactly which one you're talking about.
Yep. And then I just kind of so I do my own thumbnails, but like a lot of the behind the scenes graphics work is done by Ender Games, and then I've got he's helped me with a lot of other stuff too. Like he set up my Discord server, just a lot of technical stuff that I don't have the caliber for. And then so like usually my routine on like game days, so a lot of my stuff that I do is I do play by play. Just like live, like radio style play by play, and it's some of the most fun that I have, and it's those are genuinely like, if you take one peek at my channel, the most popular thing is going to be the Jaguars game from last year. I think that one did like 11K. That one was crazy.
People love misery, man. That's all I'm going to say. People love the misery. I remember when I did Steelers Browns. I think that was the first game I really did like a reaction / play-by-play for. Because I'm thinking, oh, it's going to be a really nice game. And then they just go out 27-0, and they're like, everyone's just like watching me salt and malt and flip out. And it's like, oh my.
And I think that's one of the things that I had to work on from a very, very early spot, because as much of a Broncos fan as I am, right, it's like I do my absolute best to try and keep my bias out of it. And one of the funny things too, is like, so I've been featured in I forget the name of the channel, but they're like the Fan Meltdown compilations. And like I swear to God, I watch over it, and I've had some, like, I've read some comments, and like some of the people are like, I don't know, like there are people like giving me props in there, some people being like, that is this like the one sane guy in this compilation, or like there are like some assholes that are just
like, dude, that's everywhere.
Oh yeah,
I'm trying to think who it is. I'm trying to find it.
Yeah, they're just like, that are just genuinely like, oh, he thinks he's a radio guy. It's like, I'm doing it on YouTube.
Oh, is it Across the Fan Base? Is
it
that
is
guy?
That one?
Yes, I've been featured on his too. I mean, most of the time for Steelers, like, they do other stuff. They try to mix it up, but usually I'll be featured on there sometimes as well.
That's, yeah, fair enough. I was gonna say, like, I've seen Perna. I don't know if I've seen Grossi on there. Maybe some older stuff from Grossi.
Maybe some Grossi. I've seen HB. How about them Chiefs? I've seen on there. I think I may have seen Chiseled on there. Chiseled Adonis. He does Steeler commentary from time to time.
Okay.
Trying to think who else, but
yeah.
I think.
Fair enough. Well, I got some people saying hello to you. Sinbin, Ender said what up. Hill Time saying what up.
Ender? What's up, Hill Time? What's up, guys?
Dude, these are my guys, dude. I absolutely love these guys. So something that I did want to ask about though, can I get what your thoughts were on the Myles Garret trade? I have to drop the question.
Ooh. I'm surprised they did it. I thought he was stuck in Cleveland because he signed that $40 million a year deal. But I think with the Rams, they see it as they need more pieces. They are special teams away. They realize that they need to upgrade in some regard to beat the Seattle Seahawks and get another ring. So Myles Garret, Jared Verse is a good player. Absolutely. But Myles Garret just broke the sack record. He is he is a transcendent talent. That's the kind of guy that doesn't really sit on the market all that often.
That's like,
I mean, you pretty much.
That's like my gen's like Reggie White.
Yeah, pretty much like Reggie White, Khalil Mack a few years ago.
Yeah.
TJ Watt was really good, but he's kind of tapered off the last couple of years. Combination of injury, age, and the contract looks really bad now because he kind of production's been halved there.
I was gonna say he's
So
like almost on like the I don't want to say like the full JJ Watt arc because JJ could still play near the end of his career.
well,
Even
JJ
if
can
he
still
was
play, he just got hurt all the time.
right. And I, because the last couple of years, like it's been a few different things with TJ. Like obviously he had the freak thing with the punctured lung. He got chargered on that. He got Chargers doctored on that one. But I don't know. Like I feel like I just don't like you don't see TJ every game the way that you did early in his career.
Well, the thing is, like he would win like 3 games near single handedly, and I think it kind of put a crutch on the team because it's like, oh look, TJ Watt did high end talent stuff again, and just pretty much caused a major turnover, changing play, which alters the course of the game, which is great, but at the same time, you didn't have anything else around, and yeah, in the playoffs, you faced real teams, and just you weren't able to do it as often as you did, so. Here's the problem. Like, I want him to get a ring. He hasn't won a playoff game in his entire career in Pittsburgh. So it's kind of a damning testament. But at the same time, I think, too, with the Myles Garret trade, back on topic, it's they're trying to win a ring. And they acquired a J.D.
Trent McDuffie.
Trent McDuffie. I'm thinking J.D. McDuffie.
Sorry, who was
that
old
school there.
Who was that other
J.D.
Chiefs corner
McDuffie's
they
old
got?
NASCAR racer.
Ooh. Who was that other Jalen Watson?
Jalen Watson, yep, they had former Chief as well. So they got the Chiefs secondary. Chiefs. Because Emmanuel Forbes, he had his moments, but really fell off in the second half.
I was going to say their secondary.
Akello Witherspoon, he's okay, but he's more of a slot guy.
Almost kind of like a Jaquan McMillan type. If I want to kind of like drag that back to the Broncos, so while we were talking about TJ Watt, I did kind of want to dig in a little bit here. How did I know you made a video about this? I probably watched it. What are kind of like, give me like your thoughts more or less on the McCarthy hire, and then what in the God is gonna happen at quarterback this year? Obviously,
I think the problem is. Yeah, the problem is it just feels really uninspired. With Mike McCarthy, I was worried about RD2 doing a coaching change because I firmly believe they were going to run it back with Mike Tomlin. The thing is, Tomlin stepped down because you could tell he was getting burned out. Like, the game had passed him by a while ago. Like, he's a good coach. He's just well past his expiration date. It happens.
Yeah.
And you could tell with his defensive schematics because he keeps running Tampa 2, and that doesn't work unless you have elite inside linebackers and edge rushers. And the problem is, that's why I keep saying it was bailed out by high-end talent, because if you look at, like, certain aspects of that defense, they just kept getting destroyed.
Right.
Then they did need a change, but the problem is Mike McCarthy is not that change. It feels like a lateral shift because you brought in a guy who hasn't won a Super Bowl in a while. He's been carried by Aaron Rodgers for a larger part of his career. Dallas didn't. It kind of went well, but it really didn't at the same time because, I mean, he was a guy that brought in Mike Zimmer as his defensive coordinator in his last year. And then, you know what happened with Dallas? They lowballed the shit out of him. But, I mean, I feel like they more or less brought him in because he's local, not really because he was the best option. I feel like they should have gone young like the last couple coaches. Because remember, they're like, who are you going to replace Tomlin with? Well, Mike Tomlin was a 1-year defensive coordinator with the Minnesota Vikings, and he popped out of nowhere in the interview process. Bill Cowher was a defensive coordinator for several years under Marty Schottenheimer in Kansas City. Chuck Noll was a defensive coordinator for the Baltimore Colts.
Right.
So they brought in unproven commodities. And now RD2 is Dan without anything that made Dan great. So he doesn't really want to rock the boat.
Okay.
So if you actually look at what happened with Art Rooney the first, he ran the team like a country club. They were a joke. So that's what it kind of is coming back into. Dan was the one that really accelerated things, was more forward thinking. He had to make tough decisions. He fired his brother in 85. He had the Tom Donahoe, Bill Cowher drama in the early 2000s. And the Steelers nowadays, they just like, okay, well, pretend we're relevant. We might sneak into the playoffs, keep the fans interested and then get blown the hell out.
Yeah. Keep putting asses
and with
in
Aaron,
seats.
Yeah, exactly. And and that's why the fan base just feels like it's like, ugh, great again. And it's just, it's been the same carousel you've been on since 18, 19, and then it's just been the same year over and over and over, and you feel like you're just trying to, react and barely try to keep everything afloat. Okay, let's bring in 42-year-old Aaron Rodgers back for another year. He didn't do anything against elite defenses last year.
Mm-mm.
If you actually look at like what happened against Buffalo, the Chargers, Seattle, Houston, Baltimore, well, the Browns, I should say, not Baltimore.
The Browns,
Baltimore's defense was terrible.
For as bad as Cleveland was last year, like they year in and year out,
their
like
defense was phenomenal.
They have it's like a stonewall defense, and the Cleveland, like nowadays, like post Baker Mayfield, after they shipped him out. Like honestly, the parallels that I could draw for the most part between them and like the post Manning Broncos pre Bo Nix is nuts. Because there were a couple of years like where that defense fell off a cliff, but like for the most part, like year in year out, like that defense is the only reason Trevor Siemian was a 9-game winner in 2016. And then like the only reason they won like I think 6 games in 2018, 7 games with Flacco and Locke in 2019. Dude, Drew Lock turning out to be ass made me so sad because I got his jersey for Christmas 2019. And I was so bummed when he wasn't great. I think a lot of the problem there with him, sorry to go on a diatribe for a sec.
It's all good.
I don't remember where Rich Scangarello ended up after he got fired, but that was like, and I was gonna say I could probably go Google that, but that is
Google that. He works for the sports agency Lift Sports Management. He mentors quarterbacks. So he went from Denver to the Eagles for a senior offensive assistant in that really bad year with Dougie P. Went to the 49ers as a QB coach to try and coach Trey Lance up. Then he went to Kentucky for like next year, was off for a little bit, then went to the Raiders in 24.
I was like genuinely shocked that they just shot him out after, because I think that was his one and only year in Denver was 2019. Everything fell apart with Flacco. And then like everything was starting to click with Locke, and then they just sent him out. And I don't know. That was always a weird one to me.
I think he just got desperate at that point. And I think Fangio got fired at that point in 2020, right? Or was that 22 he got fired? I'm not
sure. No, he did get I think he held on for 21.
21.
Yeah, because that was the Teddy Locke year. And then they brought in Nat Hackett the year after that, Russell Wilson. God, that was a whole thing. We both got the washed Russell Wilson.
Yeah, and the thing is, you guys were so excited for that Wilson trade. I thought it was going to take you over the top too, because
you have no idea.
And then he just fell apart. And the thing with the Steelers, the expectations were a little tapered. You could see the flashes of what he was, but those last like 4 or 5 games, he ran himself out of town. And now, like with the Giants, he's off the CBS and he's going to be doing high knees on television. So let's ride.
Let's ride. CBS country. Let's ride. All right, so I'm gonna keep prodding on the Steelers here for a minute. We're gonna peel some layers back here. So you have obviously seen more football than I have. So knowing just kind of that, because you were pulling some ball knowledge on me, man. That was sick. What's like your favorite Steelers season? Let's start there. But like, who's your favorite just all-time player? So season
all-time
first,
all-time
player, and then like all-time favorite year. Just
in terms of who I watched, it's got to be Polamalu. That dude was an absolute treat to watch in his prime. Early, like mid to late 2000s, that man was a shit wrecker and a game changer. And he was just special. Like he was able to use his athleticism to just create plays, thrive in the chaos. Like you didn't really have to worry about him because he was like 3 players at once. And the problem was in the final year, like you could tell his athleticism was going away, and it was just sad. And he kind of had a really bad falling out with the Steelers because he felt like he could play. The Steelers said, "No, we're done," and then they just cut him. So, as I said, it's just sometimes it's sad when that happened. But in terms of a favorite year, I would probably have to say, it's tough between 2005 and 2008. Because 2005, they were on the fringes of playoff contention, and then went on that mad run. And I know Bengals fans are pissed because of the Kimo von Oelhoffen the injury on Carson Palmer. And the reality is, if Ben Roethlisberger doesn't do that shoestring tackle, Jerome Bettis is pretty much reviled in the city because he was the one who caused the fumble at the 1-yard line. Like he's Bill Buckner. Like he would have retired. Instead, he retires in glory.
Yeah, because you do mention 05. They beat Denver in the title game that year, didn't they? Because Denver was kind of on their own crazy
they pulled
thing.
belt ass.
Because you belt BTA and Mile High. Because that was Jake Plummer at his absolute peak. Fuck, who was in that backfield? Is that Mike Anderson in that backfield that year?
Mike Anderson or Rolondis Gary? I wasn't sure. Maybe one of those guys.
One of those guys. Maybe. No, I don't think Tatum Bell was there yet. Yeah, I'm gonna have to. Dude, Denver is good because that was like back end of Rod Smith. I don't.
You had McCaffrey a little bit of that. You had Champ Bailey was there.
Did you have John Lynch? I think John Lynch was on those teams, or was on that team in particular.
No, you were right. They had Tatum Bell. I was wrong. I thought they had Rolondis Gary, but he's not. It was Mike Anderson at 32 with 1,000 yards rushing.
Damn.
That's incredible.
Yeah, well, and then it's like
Ron Dane was on that roster.
Jake Plummer had far and away like best year of his career too, because like he was literal definition of mid in Arizona, and then it's like Shanahan was his guy. God, this is like the one of like maybe 2 good years that Ashley Lally had. That guy was a huge bust for most of his career. And then just like 700 yards out of nowhere. That's competency. And then Darrent Williams was still there. R.I.P.
Al Wilson, first team All Pro. Champ Bailey,
Nick Ferguson.
Yeah, they did have John Lynch that year.
John Lynch was there. Like that team was loaded for what it was. And then like tight end, the tradition of Denver doing nothing with a tight end still carries on strong. Whoever the hell is Stephen Alexander is.
I mean, sometimes those tight ends come out of nowhere. You remember Gary Barnidge had that one year in Cleveland and then just vanished?
Dude, that year was sick. That was like the Peyton Hillis run in what year was that? Like 09, 2010. It was like that one really good year for Cleveland.
2010, 2011.
Yeah.
That dude like carried my fantasy team. I picked him up like week 1 after free agency. Boom.
Won the league that year.
Yep.
Hell yeah, man. So I do want to bring this up because I've gone back like in my time. I had to go watch some of those old game reviews, dude. I had to. The playlist is on YouTube, right? What? Lord. Yeah, my mighty number 9. Huh? No, it's so what instigated kind of the shift, I guess, from wanting to kind of work in that space over towards talking about football. I is what I always remember seeing first, but sports more broadly.
I would say mainly just trying to find a piece, because after 16, like those latter days, I was just releasing stuff just to have a creative release, not really to have a style per se. I would say what really pivoted me to sports was the haters guides to the 2017 NFL playoffs and Super Bowl 50 really taking off randomly. I would say those were the moments when I really started a hard pivot. I would still make random videos here and there, but slowly it just pivoted towards sports. Because I've done a couple other gaming videos, but the problem is gaming's so oversaturated.
Right.
That it's hard to really gain foothold there. And then I just gotten kind of jaded with the gaming scene. And then it just more or less came into that. So I still play every now and again. I just don't have the time to do it now. So I'm kind of out of the loop in a lot of aspects.
I get you. That does actually segue me really good into my next question. Trees, like, I'm not going to make you pick one, because that'd be a dick move. But like your 5 favorite games, or like 5 most played.
Ooh, most played all time or current?
All time. We'll do 5 all time, and then like maybe like your 2 most current, like most played.
Yeah. I'll probably say NHL, not like the NHL series, like 93, 94, 95, 96, 97 for the PC.
Oh.
I would say those games I really played a lot of, like 98, 99, 2000 as well.
Okay.
I would probably say like F-Zero X. I would say that's a really fun game for the 64. I would go with something like Road Rash, the series for the Genesis. I was a big fan of that. So I mean, Sonic the Hedgehog, that's a classic. I mean, you have to go with like the old school.
I did, dude.
Oh
I
yeah, I
got
didn't even see those back there, man. The
uh
old Amy Rose and Shadow.
yeah, Sonic and Tails are hanging on there. If
Yep.
I showed you my
That's,
door, I'm getting called a fucking dork, bro. I just
I
got
mean, dude,
so many of them.
we're all dorks. I mean, it's just a different brand. We just wear it on our jerseys. That's all
True,
it is.
true, true. No, it's dude.
But in terms of, oh, sorry.
No,
But
you're good. You got it.
yeah, in terms of all time, I would say NFL 2K5. That was probably my favorite football title of all time.
That's one that I
I mean,
need to
I was
experience.
sad when they just like it was realistic for the time.
Mhm.
Problem is, like the NFL adapted the Madden, but it's all you could do is just like chuck deep balls and you were fine. It's just like really. And then with the NFL, like NFL 2K5, you had to be more strategic. Like you had to work yard for yard. Like it was a different
Right.
style of play. You could break off big plays, but for the most part, it was just like you had to work for it.
You couldn't.
And nobody's
cheese it
done
in the
first
way.
person football ever since. No, I mean you could cheese it, but at the same time, like it's yeah.
Yeah. If I remember, I do think 2K took one more stab at a football game before the end of the
It
decade.
was unlicensed.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
the
was like
all-pro
like an
football.
all pro football, like with all the legends they tried to get, but it just nobody could buy it because it wasn't the NFL.
Right.
Apparently, the game's really good. I've just never played it.
I was gonna say, like, everything I've watched about it is like it gets like glazed as like the best playing football game that so many people have like ever touched. Is what I always hear. I always thought that I do want to touch on Madden real quick, just because I always thought that I shouldn't have, just like knowing how things work now, but like the fact that they just bought out the simulation license, I always thought was one of the stupidest.
But the problem is that's what the NFL wanted.
Right.
That's the reality of it, and it sucked because you lost competition. I mean, Madden had a decent game. I wasn't a fan of their gameplay. They did good stuff, but the problem is now, I mean, I don't think if like NFL 2K ended up getting the license, I think we'd be in the same boat because the reality is, if you look at what games are nowadays with the ultimate teams, you don't make your money by doing a $60, $70 video game. You make your money with the whales spending hundreds of or thousands of dollars on their teams to try and make them better with packs. So it is pay to play. They don't say it's pay to play, but it honestly is.
It is,
because it's just that competitiveness.
Because I've dabbled, like in the past, like I would dabble every now and again playing Ultimate Team just with my friends, and it just like every year it's like they always tell me, like, they're like, I got the money to spend, like let me drop some money on this, and it's like I just could never get with it ever.
Yeah.
Like I've bought Madden like just to play with them like the last couple of years. I basically flat out told them, like, I do not care anymore this year.
I think that's how a lot of guys are. Like, I mean, I don't like with Madden. It's just, I mean, there are aspects that do work that look nice, but at the same time, they're using an FPS engine for football games. So you just like preset animations, which doesn't work in a chaotic collision-based sport.
Say, because really, like, the most ideal like game engine for Madden nowadays would probably be what, like Euphoria.
Maybe. I'm not really familiar with engines these days.
Hell, I think they could, honest to God, use... I forget the name of it, and it's discontinued, but it was what GTA, like, 4 was made with, and, like, the original Red Dead Redemption, that physics engine.
Yeah.
Or what did they go away from to go to Frostbite? The Ignite engine, I think is what it was.
I forget.
But fair enough. There's been too many goddamn Maddens.
Yeah.
Just holy shit. we get them every year, and it's a glorified roster update at this point. It's a roster update with good marketing.
Yeah, that's been the cynic like thing for Madden for a long time. NBA 2K is having the same issues. Out of the Park Baseball is dealing with the same shit. You ever play that game? It's a fantastic game. But they're going back into the Ultimate Team style, and they're going to focus on that instead of, you know, the game itself. The game itself is really good. They don't really need to upgrade much. But once again, it's starting to go to the Ultimate Team.
We're going to start making our money through essentially gambling.
Well, partially gambling. It's more skill-based in some
degree. There's some of it that just gets weird. Well, and I do like that you brought up just the game industry as a whole, because I do think, especially like current times we live in, where just like parts are expensive too. It's like
Oh yeah.
I think one of like the biggest problems in gaming is just how unoptimized shit is nowadays. Because like they used to squeeze masterpieces onto the PS1, PS2, and they were working with kilobytes of RAM. Like
Yeah.
and then it's like,
Problem is, I think the graphics do eat up a lot of space there. It's just the reality of it, and you want more clarity with your graphics, but the problem is now people are afraid to take risks because video games cost a lot of money, especially in terms of AAAs. They're costing hundreds of millions of dollars, which is why they keep re-releasing The Last of Us every 2 damn years. We have the fifth iteration of the original Star Fox coming out now. It's like, really, like, don't get me wrong. It's nice to get new Star Fox out, but your remake is based off Star Fox 64, which was based off Star Fox for the SNES. Come on, man.
Say, because they were trying to make the one with the FX chip, like, because there's footage of that exists.
Star Fox 2. That was actually released on the Virtual Console. That is out.
Really? The Super FX chip one? That's nuts.
Yes, that is out. That was out for, I think that's been out for like 10 years. There's footage on YouTube of it.
Huh. Fair enough.
And then you can see a lot of aspects that they transferred over to 64.
Okay. I gotcha. I am curious. I'm gonna squeeze in some questions here. I wasn't sure how long we were gonna go, and I've still got some football stuff I want to get into. Over the whole of the season, like next year, it's like who do you foresee kind of not necessarily going all the way, like going the distance, but I guess like realistically, like who are your couple of contenders like in each conference? Because I feel like I feel like the NFC is a little easier to read, whereas I still feel like the AFC, there's not a lot of teams right now that you can say explicitly like, yeah, I trust these guys.
Well, there's a lot of ifs for the AFC. Like Denver, it's if like a lot of their games were one score. Remember what happened with the Chiefs last year? They had a bunch of one-score wins. That pendulum swung hard. They
fell apart.
So I feel, so it goes with Mahomes' injury. That's my fear, because it was always like you play like the offense didn't do well for 3 quarters, but the defense kept them alive, and then Bo Nix had to drive in the final. You kick a game-winning field goal. That happened like 10 times.
Yeah, it was
something ridiculous.
I genuinely probably had heart problems over the season because of that.
Seattle had that problem for a long time, cardiac. But as I said, Houston will be really good if CJ Stroud doesn't shit his pants again. Buffalo, like, it's if management doesn't get in their own way, because everyone said like, oh, this is Buffalo's year. I didn't trust the run defense, and Josh Allen cost them in the end. There's also, like, for example, the Ravens. Do they come back from the malaise of John Harbaugh? I think they're due for a bounce back. The Bengals, do they actually get any semblance of a defense?
I do want to
touch... the Chiefs, do they come back? Because they have huge questions in their secondary, even with Mansour Delay.
And Kansas City, I'm certainly a lot lower on than I think some people are going to be, even with, obviously, like, the idea Mahomes is going to be back at some point. They're not sure how
they have a lot of their questions on their defense, even with Spagnuolo. I mean, they've had a huge overhaul in their secondary.
Right, and that's a big thing, because didn't they lose pieces at linebacker too? Where did Leo Chanel end up going? Now I got to go Google this.
I forget. I know you said Watson and McDuffie went to the Rams. I know that Kelsey is back, but Kelsey did not look good last year.
No.
Like, he was showing his wear and tear. With running back, I think K9 is going to help them out a ton.
For sure.
But the question is, how are they going to fix left tackle? Because they had a lot of issues there. They were down to DJ Humphries by the end, and he wasn't what he was.
Right. Well, in their D-line, too, is something that I think is really interesting. Chanel's a commander, by the way, I now realize. But their D-line and like their pass rush as a whole really interests me too, because Frank Clark, I don't know how long he's got left, but I feel like I think they might get to a point, and I don't know how you feel about this, but I feel like a lot of George Karlaftis, whatever. I feel like a lot of his production came on the back of somebody else, though, because it felt like every time that he was
Chris
in
Jones.
Chris Jones, excuse me.
And he's getting up there in age too.
Right. And so it's like, I don't know, like every situation last year where I watched Kansas City, I guess we'll put that bias in there, but Karlaftis cannot create on his own, and that's I think Kansas City is going to have to reckon with that very, very shortly, especially where you've got some aging guys on the line that you don't know if you're how many more of like those great years you're going to get out of them. And so that makes it interesting. I did want to touch back on Baltimore though, because I don't know how high a lot of people are, but I can tell every AFC like North fan that Jesse Minter is a fucking wizard on defense.
It's
like,
a tremendous hire. If you look at what he did with the Chargers, they didn't have size perfectly presented. They gave the Steelers fits last year.
They gave the Broncos fits, even playing their backups. I don't think Denver I think Denver put up 17 points against like the B team last year.
Yeah.
And we were playing majority starters in that game. We were playing outright starters, I think, in that.
Yeah, because I think you were trying to fight for the number 1 seed, if I remember correctly.
Right, yeah, because New England was in a spot where if we had lost, they could have leapfrogged us.
Yes.
It was almost the 2015 season all over again, just in that regard between those two teams. No, Baltimore's going to be really interesting though, just because I obviously like you're still getting Lamar Jackson. I with how many times I've had to play Jesse Minter over the last couple of years, that defense is going to look so much better than it has. And I think they have some really good pieces that I like.
Yes.
I thought they had a pretty good draft as well. I think something with the Ravens you do have to reckon with is, are they going to, and it's almost the same thing with the Bengals, less so in Cincy, just because it's one guy for the most part, but like, can the Ravens stay healthy? I think is another question that's going to have to be asked.
Their defense had huge problems last year, especially with containing. They gave up like one of the most, like in terms of team passing yardage in the league itself. Zach Orr was not good. That secondary was like falling apart. They were banking on Jair Alexander for depth. He was disappointing. Roquan Smith didn't have a forced fumble, interception, or sack last year. He was just a tackle magnet.
That's insane.
Nnamdi Madubuike, losing him killed them, especially in the interior run. I don't know what's happening with him. He may come back, but with neck injuries, you never know.
Right.
You also had a huge issue in terms of getting to the quarterback.
Right.
Mike Green, their top pick, didn't really do much. Kyle Van Noy fell off the face of a map. And there were a lot of times, like even against the Steelers, where that defense was just completely out of position. And there are times like, how is this a touchdown? It was like a 40-yard check down to Jalen Warren. Nobody's around him for 20 yards. I'm like, this is not the Ravens defense. Ed Reed and Ray Lewis are out here having like aneurysms watching the shit. And the problem is, the only reason why they still didn't win that division was because of a Tyler Lopez kick. And that defense too.
I forget how close the division was last year. Just between
and it was a joke
because
it was terrible. Like the Steelers had a wide open advantage that they nearly squandered, and it was a perfect storm as to how they even got that division to begin with.
Because they were still
fell apart. No Lamar for a while. No Burrow. The Browns offense was a joke, even though you lost to the Browns in Week 17. So.
Because I was gonna say, now that like my memory's jogged, like we were still talking about Cincinnati having a shot at that fucking division in Week 11, and they were sitting at 3-8.
Like Joe Burrow, Flacco had his moments, but their defense was atrocious. It was generationally bad.
Oh yeah,
and like Trey Hendrickson was hurt. Nobody was doing anything. The first round pick had 1 sack. It was bad.
It's just a complete storm for
and guess what? Fire nobody. Everything's fine.
Yeah.
So have fun.
Maybe I have a little more competency than the Bengals front office at this point.
Yeah, I think everyone does.
Probably. My dog back here could probably do a better job with the Bengals than
I was seeing him. I mean, as I said, it's at least the dog is cute.
True.
What's his name?
Her name's Bagel.
Oh, her. Oh, Bagel.
Yeah. Bagel, say hi.
Hello. Hi. Hi, Bagel. Hello. I don't think she even cares. She's like,
I don't think she does either. She's like, who's this guy over here?
She's just like, I'm tired. Give me food and pets.
Straight up. 100%. She gets those. She will get pets. She will get pets later. I do want to pivot to the NFC now, where we're kind of sitting on this, because I feel like you could take a stab at saying a lot of the same players from last year are going to be good. Although I do think there's some wild cards. I don't know how you feel about them, but I am high on the Saints for next season because
They're intriguing. They are intriguing, especially with that division.
mm-hmm,
Yeah, Tyler Shuck, you have to see if he's the guy. I
mm-hmm,
think he deserves another year at the shot. I think New Orleans is willing to give him the shot. Travis Etienne, I think, will be a really nice spoil for him because I don't know if somebody like Alvin Kamara will be back. Like
right.
they're like Cameron Jordan, Taysom Hill, Kamara, Demario Davis is already gone.
Yeah, they are
But
a very aging
they changed the
roster.
regard. It's the official end of an era, and that
Mm-hmm.
should have happened years ago. But they're going kicking and screaming into it. And it's also an if, like, can Chris Olave stay healthy? Because there's that concussion history.
Right,
Otherwise, they were thrown to electricians, carpenters, and plumbers. Like
right.
it was getting pretty bad.
I was gonna say because they did address wide receiver at least to a certain degree in the draft, didn't they?
Mm, yes, they drafted, I believe, Jordan Tyson. Jordan Tyson.
Jordan Tyson, that's right. And I was pretty high on him in the draft process too.
Mhm.
He was a guy that I really, really liked. And then like they go out, they get Oscar Delp. I thought he was a decent pull for day two because they got him, I think like middle of round 3, pick 73, wherever that falls. And then they go out, they get Bryce Lance as well, Barry and Brown. So they tripled up on wide receiver in this draft. I think they understand too that change has to be made there, especially playing in the division that they are. Because I'd go as far to argue that Tampa didn't do much with their offseason either. At least
No,
in
I think
terms they
they took a huge step back in terms of a
mhm.
lot of aspects. Keeping Todd Bowles, major step back.
And that
Baker Mayfield's in a contract year, so who knows what happens there.
mhm.
Mike Evans, gone. Levante David was pretty much their entire defense for the second half of the year. He retired.
Gonzo.
So that's a huge blow. You got to figure out what's happening with the edge. Ruben Bain's a huge upgrade, but if you don't have anybody to replace Levante David, that secondary fell apart at
Right.
the end of the year. So if you have that again, why did you keep Todd Bowles?
Right. And that's I do think that speaks to the NFC South more broadly because that whole
Mhm.
division's a question mark. Like
It is.
Carolina drunkenly stumbled their way to winning that division last year, and then they
Yeah.
put they gave the Rams a fucking fight,
Yeah,
which
I mean,
was
they at least fought.
right.
Atlanta, you're just hoping they finally stop punching themselves in the dick. That's the
Hmm.
reality with Atlanta. And now you throw all these assets at quarterback. You tamper for Kirk Cousins. You inexplicably throw the 8th overall pick at Michael Penix, who I liked at the time of the draft, but with all those issues, especially on edge, that was a huge
Hmm.
question. Then you panic at edge. You trade next year's first, which St. Louis or the Rams may have squandered for Ty Simpson.
Right.
James Pierce, you're lucky he's still playing. That dude should be in jail. But his
Yeah.
girlfriend dropped the charges, probably after being bribed or threatened or something like that. But the reality is, you still have a massive quarterback problem. You have two lefties with major injury issues at under center.
Right.
Bijan's good. You have Drake London extended. Kyle Pitts could be good, but the problem is, can you get him the ball?
Right. I on just all of the questions like in the NFC South. That's why I'm willing to hedge my bets on the Saints, just because it felt like they did the most to get better and to build
Mm-hmm.
around a quarterback that maybe I'm a little too high on, like for going into year 2 with what did he get, like 7 starts last year, 7 or 8 starts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But the Saints to me right now just look more stable. And for
Which is sad to
Carolina,
say.
yeah, like for Carolina, it's like I want to buy in, but until Bryce Young can string together 2 good games in a row, I just can't. Like he's fun to watch because he's so volatile, even if the bad parts are almost unwatchable. But it just I like the NFC South is kind of a crap throw, or
Mm-hmm.
just for what it is.
Yeah.
The NFC West, I feel like could send the same 3 teams to the playoffs next year, though.
Yeah, it's like the three-headed dragon. It's like, but except there's 4, and then the Cardinals are just like derping in the
Hmm.
background. It's just, it's pain. You inexplicably you draft Jeremiah Love because you're panicking over the Amari DiMercado situation. Jeremiah Love's a phenomenal player, but they had way too many issues. They had issues on
Oh
O-line. They had
yeah.
issues on defense.
I think
You
I
could have had to
was
fix that. Your
I think I was
quarterback is Jacoby
questioning
Brissett,
that.
and he's holding out. I was
Mhm.
laughing when they picked. It's like if they pick Jeremiah Love, that they're irrelevant.
Say, because
And it's
I remember I was doing night one of draft night with Ender, and it was genuinely like we sat there when they picked Jeremiah Love. We did like the whole spiel of like the scouting
mhm.
report, and then I think the first thing I asked afterwards is, why the fuck would you pick Jeremiah Love right there when you have needs everywhere else? Like I get it's
Because it's a sexy option. It's what Atlanta did with Bijan. Like
mm,
you had Christian Gonzalez right there, but you go after Bijan. And I mean, it has worked, but this is the second time that Tyler Algier got one upped by a top 5-10 running back pick.
Tyler Algier has spent his whole career just getting cucked out of a starting job, and you kind of feel for the guy, honestly, because he wasn't bad. Like I think he's had a couple of years where he reminds me of like kind of like your 80s breed of running back, where it's just like he's gonna fall forward and get you like 3.5 yards each time. Like he'll bowl a
Mhm.
couple guys over, you're getting 3.5 yards, and you are gonna like it. But it's man. Dude, man, yeah, it's wild. And then it's like everywhere else is just on top of the heap just when it comes to them. Seattle, I think, is going to be really interesting next year just to see how they sort of what's the word I'm looking for? How they compensate for what they lost. Obviously, K9 was like huge for him through the playoffs. Really,
Mhm.
really carried him through the Super Bowl. Uh, Defensively, kind of, what's that going to look like? Mike McDonald's a wizard, obviously. Is
Yeah.
Darnold going to be able to repeat the consistency that he's had now 2 years in a row of playing really good football? Because he, even in the Super Bowl, like you still kind of see, like you still kind of saw Darnold seeing ghosts. There were a couple, you'd get some throws with him where guy, what was he looking at, But
Yeah.
I like Seattle. I definitely think like has a chance to repeat as the division crown, but I don't think they got as better as someone, especially now like in LA. Like my god, LA might just be the Dodgers at this point. They might as well rename
Who
to the
knows?
Dodgers, cuz that's a whole ass super team right there at this point,
Well, you say that in theory, but we talk
in
about super
theory.
teams and then they just fall apart. So we have to play the games until
Mhm.
things happen. Like Stafford, maybe Stafford's injuries pop up out of nowhere again. Maybe Puka Nakua like just goes haywire AB style.
Yeah,
Maybe Devontae Adams gets hurt. Maybe the O line starts to dismantle.
maybe
I
they're
mean, there are rumors that
ooh,
Aaron Donald might come back, but those are just rumors right
right.
now. Like it just, as I said, there's just a lot of questions to ask. And you have to wonder about Rams special teams. That was the biggest thing.
That
That's
too.
the reason why they didn't make a Super Bowl
Cuz that
because
that
they blew it against week 15, I
mm.
believe it was. And they also blew it in the championship game.
Yep. Because those were their two biggest problems last year, right? Was secondary and special teams. Like that, those
Correct.
were the big problems. What I do obviously in theory like about LA is that they did go out and address those needs in the secondary, and they went hard at them. But you are 100% on special teams, and it's what sunk the 2010 Chargers, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
that was what number one offense and defense, and that special teams was so abysmal that it cost him a playoff spot. Because that was who quarterbacked that Chiefs team that won that division. Now I'm curious,
Mm.
but well, and then like you still got to see San Fran. I feel I don't know how I feel about San Fran because I think because the consensus is that their draft was shit.
It was. And the thing with using openly using AI and then just going way off the board for a lot of stuff, I'm like, it usually doesn't work like that. Just ask Gruden and the Raiders back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
It just did not work out well.
And then
It was
it's
like the Jacksonville was the same way. Like they had a
oh,
pretty weird draft as well.
I think
And you're just sitting there like,
Jacksonville.
what?
I think Jacksonville took a lot of flack off of San Francisco just for how like San Fran was a bad draft. Jacksonville, I either Liam Cohen's a genius, which remains to be seen, or everyone in that war room was smoking something, bro. Like that, I think that was genuinely one of the most baffling drafts that I think anybody saw. NFC, what did we touch on? Southwest. NFC East is going to be fun next year.
It will be, because I think the Giants are going to have a little bit of a boost there.
Mm-hmm.
The Eagles they're a wild card. I'm going to be honest here. I know AJ Brown's gone. They did get a first-round pick.
Mm-hmm.
The one that's going to ruin their season is Nick Sirianni. I firmly believe that, because he kind of ruined it last season by proxy for not letting go of Kevin Patullo, and that's what fucked them in the end. The Commanders, it's a make or break year, because Jaden Daniels had a down year. Dan Quinn fired all his coordinators. If he fails again, they might fire him. And it's I said, somebody's going to falter out the gate. Dallas, who the hell knows? I mean, do you have anything resembling a defense this year? That's the question.
Saying I remember like sitting on draft night, because I was texting with one of my best friends. He's a Cowboys fan. And it was just defense after defense, and
and they did a good job. Like, Caleb Downs will probably be a really good player in this league.
I feel like getting Caleb Downs where they did too was utterly insane, because he fell down the board, and I
thought he was going to go to the Giants.
I thought I could have seen him going to Arizona. The crazy part.
I was thinking either him. Well, not Arvell Reese. It probably might have been Arvell Reese. It might have been Sonny Styles.
Yeah.
Or, Caleb Downs. I thought it would have been one of those three. Maybe Mauanoa for their offensive line.
Yeah, because Cardinals are a ship full of holes right now. That division is going to be damn fun. I think the big narrative, like, in that division going into next year, though, is going to be Jaden Daniels. Can he recreate 2024? Can he avoid the injury? Can he shake off whatever the hell was, fucking with him, just in terms of injuries and just what have you, from last season? And I do think Washington did make steps to get better, because that defense last year was a goddamn disaster, right? Because they were betting on a lot of aging players, and it worked in 24.
They whiffed. They whiffed. They swung for the fences with a lot of pieces too. Marshawn Lattimore, Javon Kinlaw getting a lot of money.
Bobby Wagner was still holding them down in the middle.
Bobby Wagner was still holding the fort. You had Deebo Samuel at wide receiver, and it just did not work.
Not at all. And I do think that they did make a lot of strides to get not just younger, but I'd argue better by proxy, like just in those spots. It's Washington feels like they could be the most volatile just out of that entire division, just based off of what we know right now on paper. Man, NFC North though, that one's gonna be a good time too.
That's gonna be chaos and just incarnate. Vikings, who knows? They've been kind of short over the last few years. Well, last year was quarterback issues. That's what did them in.
And that's why they went and got Kyler Murray.
To push JJ McCarthy, and who knows what happens with JJ McCarthy. Maybe they're losing faith in him because the GM that drafted him got fired.
Yeah, and usually
and then you have Green Bay, who's got questions too, especially because the injuries destroyed them.
Right.
Detroit, do they bounce back? Because their issues were defense and
injuries were another big piece of that too.
On the O-line especially.
Yeah.
Chicago, do they keep up their momentum? Because there were a lot of red flags that could be signs for regression. They gave up a ton of passing yards, but were bailed out by an unsustainable amount of turnovers.
Because I was gonna say, like, because I know that there was a lot of the comparison. I saw a good amount of comparisons last year between Denver and Chicago, and just look like from what I know, Chicago's style of play last year is not going to be sustainable. Not unless there are tangible changes. Denver's isn't going to be any more sustainable either, just playing the brand of football that they did last year for the majority of the season.
I think they have more talent on their defense, though. I think that'll help them survive.
Well, and Denver feels, call me biased, obviously, I'm wearing a Peyton Manning jersey, but Denver feels a little safer to bet on teams that like could fall off, just that they won't full-blown collapse just because the defense was the way that it was. I have my concerns about Denver's defense, though. Like, there were some things that, especially early in the offseason, that didn't get addressed. that I feel like could really have a chance to sink Denver, and I think we could probably pull this back to our two teams for a minute, just on the whole outlook thing. Denver's biggest issue for years has been middle linebacker, right? Because we've been trudging out Alex Singleton since give or take 2020, 2021.
Yeah, Greenlaw, but he got hurt.
He
was kind of in and out.
That one didn't work out. You kind of found a gem in Stranad, but like Stranad almost feels like we're running kind of the same arc as Alex Singleton, because Singleton was a special teamer that got some playing time finally, looked good, and then just kind of had a major fall off because almost everything over the middle was going at Alex Singleton. Like, teams figured Denver's defense out, especially as the season progressed. Poor tackling was a bit of a problem in the middle, and then Riley Moss had his problems with tackling, at least against Jacksonville. Riley Moss's performance against Jacksonville is seared into my head, bro. Like, that was a game to watch from him. Parker Washington had his way. And then Denver's running game, I think, is going to be another huge question too, because what does Jonah Coleman do in that situation?
Yep. Dobbins is out.
Dobbins, are we going to be able to get every, how many games do you get out of him? Is RJ Harvey going to materialize into a better runner? There's a lot up in the air too. What are, I guess we did touch on like one huge question with the Steelers, obviously McCarthy and Rodgers, but like post-draft, really post-offseason stuff happening as we kind of move into OTAs. Like, what are your biggest concerns with Pittsburgh?
I have a few questions, more or less. I know you have a few holes that have opened up inadvertently over the offseason. You did bring in Michael Pittman as your wide receiver 2. Question is anyone really going to jump out as a wide receiver 1? DK Metcalf, he had his moments, but it was like sort of he didn't really elevate when he needed to. Like, that's why Seattle was willing to let go of him. So he's more like a wide receiver 2 or like a 1B.
Yeah.
Pittman, I wasn't super crazy about in Indianapolis, but he came cheap. And he does cost a bit. They've had a huge issue at wide receiver 2 for a long time. So they've been trying to fix that issue as well. You did fill the hole at tight end. Question's going to be at left tackle because Broderick Jones, apparently his neck injury, he may never play again because it's just apparently he suffered a major setback. It's not healing. That's why you went out and drafted Iheanacho instead because, I mean, you did get cucked for Mekhi Lemon.
Yeah,
that was supposed to be their pick, but they got swooped up by the Eagles and embarrassed the Steelers in a national stage. But I mean, I don't hate the Iheanacho pick because once again, it was a need. You can move Fatanu to left tackle. I think he'll be all right there. But you do have some serious questions, especially in terms of the age of this team. Watt's going to be 32. Cam Hayward's 38. I don't know how much longer he's got left. Alex Highsmith is going to be entering a contract year. And you did pay Nick Herbig $25 million, but he's a pass rush specialist. He doesn't really do much against the run. So now you have an edge rushing logjam, and Highsmith will probably be the odd man out there. You do have questions at cornerback. Joey Porter Jr. is going to be due a contract as well. Do you have enough money for him? You have an aging secondary. Jalen Ramsey is going to be able to hold up. You have questions at safety. You did get somebody like you did sign Jaquan Brisker, but I think he might be more of a backup. You had guys come and go. Deshaun Elliott's coming off a major injury. Is he going to be back to what he was? Because you had a bunch of random pieces that came in that didn't really work. I mean, you had Juan Thornhill. He did not do well. Darius Slay didn't really work out. Then he retired. You had, Chuck Clark, who was more of a backup, didn't really work out. So the question is the team going to hold together despite the age of their elite players? Or is there going to be a new blood that comes in, like a Nick Herbig, Patrick Queen? He started to really come into his own his second year, maybe him, Peyton Wilson, potentially. You have, Joey Porter Jr. You have a couple other guys waiting in the wings that could be something as well. But at the same time, I mean, you're hoping for someone like a Derek Harmon to really take the mold of a Cam Hayward, Keanu Benton. You could as well. But at the same time, you do have some pieces that could fit, but there are way too many questions to really have full confidence as a Super Bowl contender especially 42-year-old Aaron Rodgers.
Right, because the fall off on A-Rod has been kind of bonkers.
Yeah, but at the same time, he's 42.
Father
He's
time.
coming off a torn
Coming
Achilles.
off of the,
Like I said, it's like Russ in his year here. He has flashes of that old form, but it's not consistent enough, and it's obvious that he's fading.
Yeah. All right, I got a couple more, and these are more fun. So I work as a beer stocker. All right, like I work for our beer distributor, and one of the kind of cool things about us is we are, I think, one of just a handful of distributors that handle both Anheuser-Busch and Molson Coors. Because there's not a lot that do both of them.
There's not many that do that. There's usually licensing issues.
Because I think we are the only distributor within, give or take, like 150 miles of a lot of spots. And so,
that's probably why.
And so the beer worker in me has to know, what is Tree's favorite beer? And can you outdrink Perna?
I don't know about that, but I mean, in terms of favorite beer, it depends on the season. If you're looking at something like summertime, 21st Century Hell or High Watermelon Wheat's a really good one out of California.
Okay.
You also have Fathead's Bumbleberry. That's a local brew out of Eastern Ohio. It's a blueberry ale. Really good as well.
What?
I would say either Hefeweizen's work too. A nice summertime beer there as well. Franziskaner, Weinstefaner. They're nice, refreshing.
Ooh.
Good for like a summertime. I would say in terms of a fall, I mean, summer solstice, I got to give a shout out to that too. That's really good. Yeah. I would say in terms of a fall beer, I would probably go with Victory Fest beer is a really good one. I know there's some really good local brews as well from Penn and Church. They have really good Oktoberfests.
Okay.
I mean, I'm more on Oktoberfest. Pumpkin beer, I have to be in the right mood for. Southern Tier Pumpkin's really good, but it got kind of overrated for a while.
Mm-hmm.
It's an imperial pumpkin, so it's good.
One of our local brewers, actually, I think I was texting you about this on Wednesday. You went to brewery, actually, so they're based on the Wasatch. They're like 3 hours west of me, but we get a lot of their stuff. And during the fall, like around Halloween, one of my favorite beers that I ever drank was Uinta's Pumpkin Ale. That genuinely one of the best beers I have ever drank.
I mean, I'll have to keep that up. Is it more like a spicy pumpkin or a sweet pumpkin?
Sweet pumpkin. Little more of a sweet pumpkin. Not quite like pumpkin squish cookie or whatever they're called.
Yeah.
But damn good, bro. And it goes down smooth as hell.
I know there's one called Blockhouse Pumpkin Ale that's like around here. It's like drinking pumpkin pie, which is good, but it can only have like one.
Yeah. Matt, so Utah's weird. So a lot of the brands I think that you mentioned, I have never heard of, and it's funny. So Utah,
there are a lot of like brands that you have I wouldn't have heard of too.
Right.
Like I haven't heard of Uintas either. So
yeah,
it's all regional. So there's a lot of stuff there too.
And that's the cool thing about beer. It's all
and we get stuff from like national too. Like example, Anderson Valley out in Northern California, 21st Amendment out of San Francisco, California,
805.
Yep, 805.
805's Lime Curvasse is so good, dude. That is,
I'll have to look that up.
You know, it's funny. So I actually tried that for the first time when I went to my family. We kind of go on like a yearly trip out to Myers, California, Lake Tahoe, essentially like South Lake Tahoe. That was where I tried my first 805. That shit was good. I do want to rebut your summer beer. I don't know if you'd get this in Pennsylvania, but at least in California, it's called Salty Crew Blonde Ale. Genuinely
I haven't.
Genuinely one of the most sippable drinks I've had.
I know another one that jogged my memory, Allagash White. It's based out of Maine. Ooh. I know Tom is a big fan of that too, but I would always get it like on the East Coast whenever it's there, but now it's available in Pittsburgh, and I'm like, whoa, let's go. Because it is a nice, refreshing session. In terms of winter beer, I don't know if they brew it anymore. It's Stone Chocovesa. It is a Mexican hot chocolate stout. So it is a little bit of spice. Stone Brewery out of California. But I don't know if they do it anymore. I haven't seen it in like Pittsburgh over the last couple years, which is a bummer.
Oof.
And then there's another one, which is like kind of like drinking like an entire like chocolate bar. It's Blockhouse Double Chocolate Bock. And it's one of these ones you're either going to really love or really hate. It's a dessert beer. So it's just like pure like chocolate. It's really good for me. But there are a lot of people that are going to hate it, and it's understandable. Like Winter Solstice is a really good one out of Anderson Valley. In terms of Christmas beers, Great Lakes Christmas Ale is really good.
Okay.
I'm a fan of Trug's Mad Elf. I mean, that's a little heavier, but that's not bad. I'm a fan of that one. And in terms of like Belgians, you got to go Chimay Blue, Golden Drak, which is like a golden ale, and also I got to give a shout out to a couple pens. St. Nicholas Bach as well is good. And there's another one out of when I was in Dallas. There was a really good brew called Revolver Blood and Honey. It's like a honey ale.
What?
It's fantastic.
Oh, yeah. Damn.
It's been a long time since I've seen it. It's based out of Dallas, but when I heard it, it's delicious.
You know, it's funny. So I actually have a couple of local parallels to some of those. So, and you know what? Let me pull a can out of my fridge real quick because I think this would be cool as hell to show you. I got some local shit that I can pull out.
Okay, now you're making me thirsty. Come on. Come on.
Is it? Ah, shit,
Look at this guy. He's making me thirsty for beer.
Okay.
I'm going to men's league tonight. We'll probably have Coors Light, which I'm fine with, but now you're talking about this good stuff. It's like,
I have fixed my problems.
I gotta load my fridge.
So, okay.
I think I bubble bear in my garage. I think I'll load that up.
Dude, hell yeah. So, okay, so this is Vernal Brewing. I don't know how good it's going to catch in my lighting. So this one's in it.
Bit.
So this one's in
it. Extra pale?
Extra pale. It goes down little bitter, but it is smooth as hell. Like it's a what's like my parallel to this? It's a better Sierra Nevada to me. I don't know how many Sierras you've had. So one of the
really. The problem I have with IPAs is they hop bomb them and it is way too hard to drink. Like my upper threshold for hop is Bell's Two Hearted, which is a really good beer. But the only other IPA that I've really enjoyed, Dogfish 90 Minute.
Ooh.
Like you'd think it was bitter. Like Dogfish 60, way too hoppy for me. Dogfish 90 is really smooth. You don't even taste the hops. It's heavy, but it is phenomenal.
You know what? So I don't have the can with me, but there's another local brewery that we have out here, Squatters Brewery. They so they've got one. It's just like a juicy IPA. You can't even taste the hops. Maybe you get a little bit of it on the back end, but for the most part, like it goes down so fucking smooth, dude.
So it's very citrus forward. Is it more like grapefruit or orange?
Little more orange, if I had to guess. It feels a little more like orange going in.
Yeah, because I know that there's certain East Coast, West Coast has their differentials. Like East Coast is more citrus based, West Coast is more grapefruit. Yeah, so that's why I figured I'd ask.
No, that's fair. Another one too that I kind of wanted to show off. So this one is from Teton Brewery. Dog. I was in the Tetons a couple of weeks ago, and the beer guy in me had to pick one up. So I have the box that's got. So this one was, I believe, the brewer's pick because they'll load their variety packs. I got a variety. They'll load them with like one of their choice, but then there's like I got to take the headphones off again. God damn it.
Yeah.
But then and one of my favorites is actually in here because there's one in here that I really fucking like. So obviously you got your pale right here. I might have drank all my ambers in here actually, but like, yeah, dude, I like a good amber. Vernal Brewing is a really good amber. It's called Allosaurus.
Nice.
I should have bought that, but like 308's a golden. You've got your amber right here. The brewer's choice is that blue one that I was holding up. That's that pale ale. And then a juicy IPA is that orange one.
Looks like it looks like it's Idaho based. What part? Is it by Boise or by Pocatello? Victor. Nice.
It's Victor's kind of right near you can basically go straight south out of Victor and wind up in northern Utah, kind of like Ogden, that area. But no, listen, man, you ever find yourself out this way, drink on me.
Oh yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was just like trying to see if I could find some there because I got to find a reason to go to Utah, maybe for like a hockey game in Salt Lake. Because as I said, the only places I've really been are like on the West Coast. You know, Washington, I was there for a casino. Oregon for the Portland Pickles games, and then California, I've been there a couple times. Okay. So San Francisco area, but I've never really been to like Los Angeles or anything like that.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So where I'm at, and that's I mean the brewing company gives it away. So we're on that kind of northeastern part over by we're like half an hour from Dinosaur, Colorado. And it's I mean going to Dinosaur is kind of a hobby here for some people, but yeah. But it's like, dude, like the local like beer stuff is cool. There's always something going on, some historic shit out here. It's a nice little passing through town because we're kind of like 3 hours from everything. So if you go like 2 hours north of where I'm at, it's the eastern, like the far eastern corner. It's opposite from the like northern part of the 90-degree angle that makes Utah. But so up there is a lot of good recreation area so this is where I was texting you from, funny enough. So you have the Dutch John area up in Daggett County, and then Manila if you go a little further, and then that's like an hour, I think, from Green River, Wyoming. And then everything out west. So if you go through like Colorado and then like through like Vernal, for instance, so a lot of what you'll be following is Highway 40. That'll run you over to I-80, I believe. And then that's kind of where you get out into the Wasatch Front. So that's like your Salt Lake, all that. St. George and Moab you've got down south. But no, it's like there's some good local brews out here. One of my favorite beers, and it's just like a straight on like average lager. It comes out of Uinta, and that's the Uinta Los Angeles.
Nice.
Just a lot of cool stuff out here, man.
Yeah, the same thing with Pittsburgh. Like it has a decent craft brew scene. Yeah, a lot of more traditional brews because they more based on purity law. From the German brews. So there's a lot of heavy German influence. So that's why you have a lot of, Penn breweries, like traditional German. Church brewing is also heavy German. So you have a lot of that sort of like feel. So like a lot of Hefeweizens or Hefeweizen adjacents that you have around here.
I will say,
a really good brew around here is, I believe it's a Grist House. It's in Millvale. I'm not from like around there anymore, but I mean, their outdoor bar is beautiful. It's fantastic. And they brew their own beer. Great stuff, man.
Hell yeah. Uinta's got a Hefe actually, as well. And the name of it's really cool because there's some history behind it. So it's called Gold Spike, and that one's a Hefe. And the kind of like, so the history that it's drawing from. So when they made the Transcontinental Railroad, way back, the final spike, hence the Golden Spike, I believe it was an actual, maybe it wasn't, but that was hammered into the ground in Promontory Point, Utah. Actually, is where they finished the railroad.
The final point where they finished the railroad.
And so that's where that one gets its name from, which I always thought was just one of the coolest bits of history to have behind a beer. Hey, we finished a railroad. Let's name a beer after it. Man,
nothing wrong with that.
It was an absolute goddamn pleasure to have you on, man. I gotta say, You're gonna have me texting you again, man, being like, "Hey, man."
Yeah, I will. I mean, I'm in Utah. Give me beer ideas.
Genuinely, dude. If you find yourself out here, dude, I'll take you out for a drink. Full stop. I got you, man.
Absolutely. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you.
Yeah, man. Of course. No, it was awesome to have you on here, man. I greatly appreciate you coming on.
Awesome, man. I love talking beer. So.
Oh yeah, dude.
Absolutely.
No, and dude, like my chat's awesome. Like I couldn't appreciate him any more than I do. I love these guys, genuinely.
It's special when you have like a core that loves your shit, man. So I get it.
Yeah, man. But shoot, man, I will let you out of here finally. Again,
absolutely.
it's been a privilege to have you on, man.
I need to wind down after mowing my lawn. The problem is, like, my lot is an acre. A third of it is like wooded.
Oh shit!
But there are a lot of areas that are hilly. So I have to use a push mower. So it takes me about 2 hours, like 3 hours if I weed trim. I'll weed trim tomorrow morning.
There you go.
But in terms of like, zero turn and mowing, it takes a while.
Fair enough.
So it's just one of those things.
Hell yeah, man. It was good talking to you, man.
Dude, it's been a pleasure, man. Thank you for having me on, dude.
Yeah, dude. Thank you so much for coming on. Genuinely appreciate the hell out of you. Take it easy. Tell Grossi and Perna that Miles says hi or some shit.
Absolutely, will do. Oh, dude, they're probably enjoying each other. Like Brenton's running a victory lap after burning Tom during a pass drill.
Oh, guaranteed, dude. I saw that.
Oh yeah.
There's another guy that I kind of I've had contact with. Like he rated me while I was doing play-by-play last year. Kind of Askew Sports is the guy. He met him at Breckenridge, and I think he got that on video. So that was cool as hell.
Yeah. I'll be down in Pittsburgh for it, so I'll do it more as a surprise. Like I'm not going to announce it because it's his event. It's the same thing it happened a couple years ago, but at the same time, I'll be like, hell yeah, I'm going down. You know,
hell yeah,
come on,
hell yeah,
come on.
not gonna turn Grossi down, are we?
Of course, dude. Grossi will kill me if I don't come down. Come on.
You might get skewered on clickbait, honestly.
Oh yeah, dude. I would be skewered on clickbait. Are you crazy?
They would make you wear a Tim Couch jersey.
No, they would make me wear the Gritty costume again, which I have to wear as a punishment.
God. Oh boy. Hell yeah, man. I'll let you get out of here. Enjoy a drink for me. I will do the same.
Yes, sir.
Take it easy. I will hit you up, man. I might just text you at some point, but
do what you gotta do, Myles.
Hell yeah. Take it easy, man. Thanks for coming on.
Pleasure meeting you, man.
Have yourself a wonderful night, man.
Yes, sir. You too. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Guys, that was fucking cool. Like, can we be so dead ass here for a second? Like, let me pull my OBS back real quick. I forgot I had my face cam turned off. Hang on a sec. That was fucking cool, bro. Come on. I can not fucking believe this shit, dude. God. Ah, man. Huge shout out to Tree. This was fucking awesome. I genuinely cannot express just like how much of a privilege this was, man. I forgot to mention it a little bit, but like this guy has like been a huge influence on my editing style. This guy, like his videos got me through a lot of shit in the past. So like again, Tree, appreciate the hell out of you, man. I'm gonna call it a stream. You guys in chat have been awesome. Fucking love each and every one of yous. If you're new, if you want to subscribe, I'd appreciate it greatly. Trying to hit, the 500 mark. I did just upload a video on Wednesday if you want to check that out. It's about the Broncos-Cowboys 2013 shootout. That game was fun. That video was fun to make. So, but yeah, thank you, Tree. Thank you guys for coming out. This was fucking awesome, and I am gonna leave it at that. Love you guys. I don't even know if I have an ending graphic loaded up. I don't believe I do. That's funny. All right, whatever. Okay, I'm stalling so it actually streams to YouTube. But again, thank you all